Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, we got great news coming in, and as you should know, early voting has started. Across the country, voters are now voting early in some states, not all states. But we got three important states that we're going to kind of talk about that Republicans, in their requests to mail in votes, have surged. And those are the states of North Carolina, along with Pennsylvania and Georgia, which Mr. of course, Eric Doherty, I think he posted one, but this Breitbart article has not included Georgia, but uh, of course, in this regards, Georgia is indeed included. So today we'll be talking about looking at the three swing states and how they're doing when it comes to early voting and updating ourselves in the current polling situation, of course, while that is going on. So let's start off with the state of Pennsylvania. And Pennsylvania, as you should know, good news for Donald Trump. Donald Trump has taken the RCP average in real clear. So I'm going to really look at this right here. Yes, as you can see, he has taken the RCP average, which is actually a really very good said state. Yeah, you'll see. Um, Harris is indeed falling, especially in Pennsylvania, and I'm predicting very possible that we can take back or win a poll here. Part of the reason why Trump took the average in real clear was because the insider advantage had Trump at 50, Trump plus 2, and then here comes Kamala Harris from the Suffolk University USA Today, Harris plus 3. But as you can see, it's out of the margin of error. So that is gonna stir up some conflict, and I don't know why this poll is. Oh yeah, it was updated in the 16th, so that was yesterday. But as you can tell, RCP average, or the average in multiple states are shifting. Harris's best performance, it would be the race to the White House, which I'm guessing is more liberal, with Harris just at 1.1. The truth is, it's not looking good for Kamala Harris. Sure, she has the momentum. She has the woman voters. She has an energetic crowd. But really, the writing, like I've always told you, the writing was on the wall for Democrats 4 years ago when you got states like Wisconsin, Georgia, and Arizona that Biden barely won by less than a point. That always shifts the other direction in opposition to the current party that is serving office. So keep that in mind. So, yes, nevertheless, Harris still is carrying Pennsylvania, but not as much as our last predictions have told us. So we're going to go ahead and update our prediction here. So my prediction's probably not going to change. Erie and Northampton counties are still going with Trump. And I say that because we saw these counties go Republican in the most unpopularist times within the Biden presidency. When it comes to the unpopularity of Republicans, one of the most unpopular times was 2023. I thought for sure Daniel McCaffrey would sweep the state whole blue. But in fact, Daniel McCaffrey underperformed his expectations. He actually won the election, but it proved that abortion isn't a very dire issue in the state of Pennsylvania as it is across the country. Because, like in Wisconsin, we saw Janet. We're calling her Janet because her name is her. I believe she's Hungarian or Polish. But yeah, big long name. But yeah, Janet won Wisconsin by a landslide, 55%. Wow. And you have a state like Pennsylvania, same year, by the way, just a couple months away, 7 months apart. I don't want to say 7 months, 6 months. Uh, you have Pennsylvania, which is more liberaler than Wisconsin by 2 more points. You see Daniel McCaffrey win by 53, like 7. That is ridiculous because we saw a year before, we saw Josh Shapiro defeat Doug Mastriano by a landslide, much bigger landslide than Janet. So that does prove abortion. Yeah, it's unpopular issue for Republicans in the state, but in Pennsylvania there are more important issues on voters' minds. So definitely, I do think this is probably what it's gonna look like. Thanks to, of course, we got to update ourselves with the current ballot situation. Who's on the ballot? Who's not on the ballot? Because it's important to know. I want to know the candidates. They're hiding the candidates from us, which is stupid. But yeah, I want to know who's on the ballot, who isn't on the ballot. But I guess they don't want to release that to us yet. But yes, this is our current prediction in Pennsylvania. As of right now, it's a Harris win according to the average. But of course, I believe that is subjugated to change. So now we look at the state of North Carolina. But before we go to North Carolina, let's talk about, of course, the said Pennsylvania data drop. So yes, you'll see. Of course, Democrats are always going to perform better when it comes to the mail-in, because Republicans have been radicalized, and I'm going to say that out loud. Republicans have been radicalized to believe that mail-in voting is a liberal trend. And it's absolutely not the case. Of course, liberal early voting is going to go down dramatically because we're not in the pandemic anymore. We supposedly return to a normal election. But however, new trend. This is the very first election where we are allowing early voting without a pandemic, going through a pandemic. So really, there's no real legitimate reason to early vote. They would say, oh, we're giving people more time. Well, yeah, it's complicated. A lot of people say early voting is necessary because by the time their state closes their polls, like take California, like Alaska or Wyoming or Washington, near the West Coast, the election has already been decided. So really, I'm standing in line. Maybe 2008 was a better example because 2008, I want to believe we got the results at 11 p.m. that Obama was the winner. It was pretty late. Well, not that late, but usually we see usually the trend is the election is called the after midnight, like at 1 p.m. or mid 12 p.m. But seeing that we have early voting, that might be changed. It does depend on the decision desk. A lot of people, even including myself, for a long time thought, oh, they have to count all that votes and they have to reach a certain percentage point to determine who's the winner. No, they don't have to do that. It's by news channel. They can call whatever election whenever they can, but they have to be unbiased. They have to say this is the matter of fact. That's why we see 3% in, and we have the winner in Alabama, a Republican in Alabama, already declared the winner. It's pretty much the decision desk and the turnout that is being displayed. So something to know on election day. So yes, let's take a look at Pennsylvania mail-in ballots requests, Republicans versus Democrats. Of course, 2020. This is the 2020 results. 50 days out, and guess what? It's 50 days out during this time. GOP 376,000, 76,956 said requests. And of course, the Democrats are already at 1 million. Okay, and this is solely because of COVID, probably. But 2024, you have maybe a more lesser number, but you'll see by now people aren't really voting early anymore. You'll see Democrats at 798,946. Kamala is down 303 to 303,000 requests compared to 2020. Okay, that could change. A lot of the Dems will go ahead and say we are in a pandemic, but who knows? I think that is subjugated to change, of course. But going to North Carolina here, we're going to go ahead and predict the North Carolina race, and then we'll talk about the voting there. Yeah, you'll see it. 270 to win is having a hard time being flexible. You'll see race to the White House is predicting a tie. So right now it's saying Trump wins by 18. And it's still looking like a pretty close race as of right now. But Trump wins the race by 18. And what that looks like, we've seen in many different results, like in the 2020 judicial races in North Carolina. Take a look here. Actually, no, let's take a look at the 2020, 4 years ago. Yes, you saw Sherry Besley. She was favored to win this election. Election was in her hands, but she ultimately lost by, I don't know. Yeah, Besley succeeded on a recount. Good for her. But it found the margin of candidates was to be 401 votes. Besley called for a second recount in a sampling of precincts statewide as allowed by law. Besley then conceded the election to Newby on December 12th. So yeah, this was an unexpected win for Republicans. Percentage-wise, I really doubt it's going to look like this. Couple elections, close races in, like, let's see, elections in North Carolina. I want to know the most. These are the presidential races. I want to look at recent races. But yeah, 2022 was a great year for Republicans in the state. That's why I'm thinking, you know what, we should handily win this. There's absolutely no reason why we can't. So yeah, 2020. I don't think it's gonna look like. Well, it could look like this. Well, let's see. Let's see. Okay. This county is undecided as of right now. But of course, Democrats are going to be performing much better than Cal Cunningham, as Cal Cunningham did in 2020, according to the recent RCP. But then again, predicting elections is so bad in North Carolina, it's not even funny. Okay. All right. This is probably what Harris is probably going to carry if the average is correct. But of course, this is a Cunningham. This is a Thom Tillis win by 2. Yeah, this is not the big results we wanted to see here. Gubernatorial race, yeah, of course, this was a big win for Democrats. I wish there was some sort of county. Yeah, they have congressional districts, but they don't have counties, which is infuriating because it makes my job much harder here. 2020, that was 2020 result. Okay, this one is somewhat more realistic. let's see. We're just going to go and type up North Carolina election atlas. And we're going to look at the 2016 election. Yeah, what changes? I think Jackson County goes for Trump. This county rarely votes Democrat. I think it's done here. Scotland County, I think it's pretty in for Trump. In the wall for Trump. But going back to like the 2020 election, yeah, it could look like this. I wonder if there was some sort of decision. But no, I don't think. But ultimately, yeah, I do think Trump wins Scotland County, Jackson County, Republican. So it's starting to look like 2020 when it comes to that judicial race. And that's what I'm kind of thinking it would look like. The only question is this county right here. Will it stay Republican or will it go Democrat? I don't know. Can't necessarily say. But let's see. 2020. I want to see 2020 results. Yeah, that county shifted more to, yeah, it's going more conservative, but I want to know how much. Yeah, this county of Nash, 0.23%. There's also Pasquotank, 0.31. And I think I made my decision. We're going to keep these counties. Nash is going to Trump, mainly because of the shift. I strongly believe, yes, it shifts the other direction. Nash and Pentoshak, Papotank, whatever it's called, yeah, they shift more to the left this time, like Nash County. Long has gone back and forth between the two candidates, but you'll see, yeah, the podium has shifted more right in 2016. Same deal with 2020. And Pasquotank, it might, yeah, big long history of voting for Democrats, but as you know, Biden barely won this county. Barely. It was in the grasp of going Republican for the very first time since 1988. And I think as this county has voted in major elections in favor of, like, Senate election, did it vote in, yeah, we know it voted for Ted Budd in 2022. But yes, it was a difficult decision to make. But I think, yeah, we have these two counties going for Kamala Harris. Okay, that concludes North Carolina. Looking at North Carolina, you'll see mail-in requests continue getting more favorable for Republicans. Mail-in requests from 2020. Okay, and keep in mind, Republicans won despite a huge request in mail-in, right? This is change from 2020. This is the current situation. 37.95% of Democrats in the state want to vote early. Subtract 8.2. Okay, so it's most likely in the 40s. Republicans gained 3.21% in requests from 2020. Not big, but it shows that there is change. More Republicans are taking advantage of initiative from this. So 23.2%, as you should see, the African American population is shrinking. It is shrinking instead of growing. We literally thought they would grow because of Kamala Harris, because she's a black woman, supposedly. But it didn't work like that. You'll see white voters have increased by 6.29 points. And compared to Biden, black voters have dropped 7.17% during this time. And it shows that, you know what? This is fake enthusiasm. And who knows? A lot of these black voters may think I'm going to vote for Kamala on election day. So it's flip-flopped, actually. Republicans are now saying we're going to vote early, and Democrats are saying, no, we're going to vote on election day. It's flip-flopped. And who knows? Maybe this thing that happened, the same that happened to us, will happen to them. So and the majority of Democrats are still voting early, but not as much from 2020. You would think a majority of Republicans would increase more during a pandemic, but no. It's actually in the election where there is no pandemic, no sort of state of crisis, except for the migrant crisis, but you know what I mean. No sort of crisis that is preventing you from voting. You see more mail-in votes coming in. So very interesting said results here. So yes, this is North Carolina. And finally, we have the state of Georgia, which, as you know, hangs in the balance between the two candidates. Honestly, I continue to tell my viewers that, there's a high chance Trump's going to probably win the state. I mean, seeing how Georgia is looking like, it's polling better than North Carolina. North Carolina has been extremely Republican in the last 4 years. So, Georgia has had its moments. It's had its difficult moments during 2022. So, this is what I'm thinking it looks like. Or, let's go to 2020. Because we might change this. I want to look at the Senate election. Yeah, you'll see not by a lot, but Republicans carried Washington County and this county right here. So ultimately, I believe these counties, in my belief, they could be going more for said Trump. They have showed extended support during the midterms for the Republicans. And I don't know, are they African American? I know they used to be pretty African American, but I don't know if they are still African American. But yes, seeing how the said shift is going, you'll see there's more low energy in Georgia compared to North Carolina. If North Carolina voters are not impressed with this, then there's a huge chance that Georgian voters, who are more liberal compared to North Carolina. A lot of people say, oh, they're more tossed up. Well, true to a point. They're still within that tilting sort of demographic. But this is what it's looking like as we speak. This is the Georgia map. Or I might be missing something. Yes, I am. This is Sumter, not Sumter County, but right here. This county right up there. And yeah, this is what my predictions looks like. Trump gains 2 counties. Don't know if they're African American. There used to be historic black presence. There is, of course, black presence over there. Pretty rural. Doesn't really change anything, but this is what I think it's gonna look like. So, what do you guys think in regards to our prediction on the 3 swing states? If Donald Trump wins these 3 states, he wins the election. It's simple as that. A simple pathway to victory has become more like a reality. So, what do you guys think? Let me know down below. And as always, see you all in the next political episode.